Awesome. Okay.
What's up?
Power Hour, we're back. Very excited. For those of you who this is your first Power Hour, I've been introducing it as a new thing, but I kind of think
not new
I know
anymore.
it's like a weekly thing now. But this is where we invite the community on and build with V0 in real time. And I'm very, very excited because this week we're joined by Sam. Sam, do you want to introduce yourself?
What's up, everyone? My name is Sam. Obviously, work here at Vercel on the V0 team. I'm on our go-to-market team, and I love building agents, so I'm super excited about today's session.
Sam's being very modest. I feel like every day in Slack, you were shipping another agent.
I love to ship.
You do. And so I feel like that was kind of why we were like, let's just put this on a Power Hour. Like, we got to get these out of the Slack and into the real world.
I do hate, sometimes they're so good, and I'm like, who can I share this with? Like, I'm really excited about it.
I feel like you've been getting good at sharing them, like, on
more and more.
LinkedIn. She's LinkedIn influencer. It's awesome. Well, so, I mean, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to show some things that Sam has been building internally for her go-to-market work at V0, selling V0, but how other go-to-market teams can also use V0 to close deals in real time. But before we do that, I do want to remind us all of the community standards. Nothing fancy, just be nice. Ask questions in the chat. We'll be managing it. I think particularly today, what we're building is really applicable to real work. And so chime in with if you're on a go-to-market team and you're curious of, how you could tweak it for this workflow, or if a customer asks for this, how you can use V0, throw it in and we will try to address it and hopefully we'll actually just try to build it.
We'll make it happen
in real time.
Live.
Yeah. And I think that's everything. And
I think the beauty of this is I feel like a little bit at Vercel I feel like we live in the future. And so I started building some agents and I'm kind of like, oh, everyone knows how to do this. Everyone's doing this. And then I think for most salespeople right now, it's actually not that common.
Interesting.
Obviously, engineers have a big engineering team here and a big GTM engineering team here. And they're like, oh, yeah, agents. But I think if I'm from the East Coast and I go back home and I say agent, everyone's like, what are you talking about? So it's kind of like wanting to bring the ability to fix a workflow. Sales has so much paperwork and repetitive tasks, and reps generally hate that and want to open up their time. And so anytime I find myself doing something that I'm like, I think a bot could do this better than me, or doing it repeatedly, and you can make an agent for that generally. And I think a lot of GTM's teams still aren't super aware, or it can be a little bit intimidating. I think the word agent is just a little intimidating.
So I guess to break down that intimidation, I think also people define agent in a very different way. What does it mean to you? And what are those moments where you clock oh, I could build an agent for this?
Yeah. I think how I understand it, I learned this from Twitter. I've been kind of teaching myself a lot of this stuff, but it's there's a workflow, and that's how I think of a Zapier or something where it's hey, I want you to pull this from Salesforce and send it to me in Slack. There's a start and an end. And so that's more of a workflow, but an automated workflow is great as well. And then where we actually have an agent is it's something that the agent has to kind of think about and work until it's done and determine when it's actually done. So it could be hey, research this, make sure you find XYZ things and put together a brief, but it's not complete until I have the output that I want. And you can search from different sources. I don't know what sources, web search and find and pull them.
Yeah. But it actually starts, I think the key part there is there's an output. And so it's starting to do the work for you, with you, alongside your existing workflows. I'm very interested in you saying that you think sales in particular, people have been less eager or open to start building agents themselves. Talking to your peers, why do you think that is?
I think part of it, one piece I think is time. So when you're a salesperson, time is literally money. We're one of the only functions that doesn't get a paycheck if we don't hit our goals, or our paycheck changes based on that. And so telling a salesperson to take away time from talking to their clients or something just to build something else when they don't know exactly the ROI is pretty hard to adopt that workflow.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is some of the tools today are still pretty new, using Claude Code in the terminal. Most salespeople don't necessarily operate in their terminal a lot. It can be a little bit intimidating. There's a couple of terminal commands you might have to learn to use that aren't that hard, but if you've just never done it, you don't want to, push the wrong button and mess something up.
Well, and I think that speaks to the culture at Vercel, where it like everyone's working in public, everyone is sharing agents they're building, and there is like excitement to be learning that. And like I feel very comfortable like asking them questions, and everyone's sharing what they're building. And so definitely makes us all more comfortable with it.
I think that is like a big thing, even like in this chat, like ask dumb questions. There are no dumb questions. I think that's something that originally when I got here, we have like so many really smart people. We have like famous engineers and designers. And so it can be intimidating. And I'm like, I don't even know if this is an
And you're all just in a Slack together. And you're like, who can I talk to?
Exactly. And I'm like, I don't even know if I should share this because it might be really stupid. But then I always get like positive feedback and encouragement from the team. And so I want to make like a space for that for GTM people, you know, outside of Vercel too, to experiment. And like, if you come up with something that saves you, 10 minutes a day, that does compound. So
I love that. And I think that the conversation on ROI is so important. And I think it's often where you might be spending more time in the front end building the agent is probably actually where you are going to save more time, make more money, close more deals, all those things. So as we move to like thinking about how you use V0 in your workflow, what is your day to day? And like when you joined, what were those tasks? They're like, oh, like this is like the time to impact is probably not there, and I can build an agent. Like, where did you start to map that out?
Yeah, it's interesting. Before Vercel, I was at a company called AngelList, and we actually are like a pretty big company, but a very, very small sales team. We didn't have like SDRs or like all these functions that are broken out sales team for a while. Actually, like I was the only salesperson there. And we had all these.
Sam was the agent.
I was the agent. So in order to actually manage that, we would have leads from all over the world. Like, can I talk to your person in New York or Japan? And I'm like, nope, it's actually only me. And so I had to like kind of build some things to be able to manage that.
Interesting.
So I feel like it like wired my brain in a little bit to feel like, hey, how can we do as much as possible with as little maybe human in the mix? So I feel like I'm coming here with that mindset. And then you get a tool like V0 where you don't need coding experience and you can just prompt to build, and it's like kind of this amazing like aha moment. I would say where I first started using V0 the most as a GTM person was follow-up materials like collateral.
Which is such a time.
Yes, I spent so long doing the perfect follow-up email for a prospect. You really want
the same thing. Well, it's with different context, but same muscle every time.
Exactly. And you're just like writing a lot of the same little snippets, repeatedly honing in on the same value props, depending on the call. But it's pretty like repetitive work. But you also want to like put maybe like their logo, obviously you want like their company name or something like that. And then the other thing now is there is this convergence of GTM people have a lot of tools. So now we have like Gong and Granola, and like I have the whole transcript. I don't have to just be like, oh, I did 5 calls. They're all blurring together. I don't really remember like what my action items were. So you kind of have all that documented on the computer already, and it really opens this door to be able to like pull from that and build
and start to like change your behaviors and take different actions on that. Because I think that that's like the first round of AI tools. It was like, great, now I like have all this extra information, but like now we're moving to like, what can I do with it?
It's just like, if it just sits there, then it's not really that valuable. I also think the other thing is like a good place to be if you're a salesperson is just be on calls like all day with your prospects. But what I often find as a problem is if I had, 6 calls that day, then I wasn't sending the follow-ups or I wasn't prospecting new leads, right? And so I need to have that somehow running in the background or make those things a lot easier so they still get done and I don't fall behind.
Okay, so speaking of that, like what do you want to build today? And where should we start?
So something that I have been spending a lot of time on, I do have, a lot of client meetings, and I don't like to just jump on. I don't really know who I'm talking to just because I was maybe like too busy. I think it's always good to like know who you're about to meet with and know maybe their priorities. You'll be surprised. I think a lot of salespeople just get so busy and you're so caught up like in your deals that you're like, oh, I forgot I had a meeting in 10 minutes. And you have the choice between having some water, going to the bathroom, or like researching that person.
And here our bathroom is like 5 steps away. So you got to clock in 7 minutes.
Exactly. And so having the ability to have that research like done for you or sent to you could be super helpful. So I think that's where I'd like to start today. It's also kind of like the start of my workflow, which is having the right research, so I'm going into a call with the right info. So
I love it. And that's like a clear ROI of like, if it's the difference between you spending less than an hour to build an agent and getting those 10 minutes back before every call to actually go in prepared.
Right.
So,
and it can change the whole conversation too, right? Like if I just jump on, I'm like, oh, hey, versus, oh, I saw you're posting this on LinkedIn. I heard this is like your company's priority. It's so much of a better experience for the prospect too. And so I think we can like, with agents, it's interesting. You get really big. So I'm like, in my perfect world, I want this research prep agent that reads my calendar at the start of the day and pulls out who I'm meeting with and then does a brief on all of them and sends it to me and maybe puts that in Salesforce. But I think what I'd like to do is like start small and build a foundation, and then we can like see where we want to take it.
Before we got started, I booked Sam for like the next 5 power hours. So we can work our way there.
Yes.
But awesome. Okay, I love it. So we've identified the problem, which is you need to come to these meetings prepared. You want to be spending as much time with clients as you can. So those are kind of counterintuitive because they take time, or counteract each other, I should say. So you have a problem. You have the light bulb moment of, okay, I could build an agent. Where do you start in V0? And I'll invite you to bring up your screen. This is the most vulnerable part of the power hour. But where would you start, Sam?
So something that I've done before, and I don't know if this is like helpful to people that might be watching, is if you don't know where to start, V0 is actually a great like thought partner. So you can actually be like, hey, I want to build a GTM agent to help automate my workflow. Are there any like ideas that you have, or what do you think we could build together? And it will give you like lists of ideas and options. So I always think that can be a great place to start, is if you just like brainstorm alongside V0, and it might just like help you think of something even better. And you don't have to start from that like fully blank canvas.
I'm so glad you said that, because that's been something that's come up in a lot of the power hours recently, is like, start with the goal and outcome you want and actually use V0 as a thought partner to imagine the product features and like actual like workflow that needs to get there.
Yep, exactly. Awesome. So if you don't know where to start, V0 can help you find a place. So I put something really vague in there, just about like brainstorming some ideas. We already have our ideas, but just kind of wanted to showcase what V0 can come up with and how it can, help you actually brainstorm things together. If maybe you already have, your research is nailed down and you want to build something else. So it's interesting. It's actually going and researching AI agents, even though it is an agent. So it's kind of cool.
It's awesome. And we didn't have to do anything to get there. So it used the Vercel AI SDK, brought it up. Like, you don't have to prompt any of that, which I think is awesome.
That is the beauty of V0, really, especially for GTM people, is you don't need experience in like coding, or you don't really even need to be that high tech. Like I use V0 with like my nieces and nephews. They want to build a game, something like that. And you really can just, if you can type, you can build.
It's awesome. Okay. What it's just for us.
So it suggested some lead qualification, some email drafting, CRM integration, which I love. Salespeople really don't like to, or they need to keep their Salesforce updated, but they're not like traditionally good at it. Sorry, salespeople, I am one too. And so it gave us some options here for like outreach, Salesforce, and different things like that. But I'm going to steer it in the direction that we wanted to go. Yeah. I want to build an agent that helps me prepare for my calls.
Oh, this is awesome. We did not even plan this, but we got our first community ask from the chat. Someone says, can we make requests? If so, how about an agent that collects business DNA from a company in some sort of onboarding process? So I have solid context going into the call. That is exactly what Sam is about to ask for. So we're on the same wavelength. That's awesome.
Let's do a research assistant agent. So like, I like what they said, like, gather where I can gather information about the prospect and the company. That's a great point. I want the agent to find all their presence online and summarize it. I also want it to look for company priorities or anything I should know, and think about what angle I might want to take the call. Like, this is actually pretty detailed. I do think something that I hear a lot from our like sales engineers here at V0 is the more context you can give the agent, the better it will be, the better V0 will like work for you.
Yeah.
So you can go in here with something super big. I want to build a research agent, and it will take it its own direction. But if you really want to have a specific vision you want to craft, the more you tell V0, the better. And like it can parse through different things with you, but I would go for more prompt than less prompt if you know where you want to take it. And we can start with that. The other thing I didn't talk to you about before is I also sometimes like to think about like how I want to design these. So like at Vercel, we have this very like clean design aesthetic. I think you could like do a themed design aesthetic. Like Claudebot is really popular right now. I guess it's called Maltbot now, and it's like lobster themed. You could make this like lobster themed if you want. Do you have a theme of the day you want to go for in design aesthetic?
I feel like I've been pushed to Vercel clean. Guys, like throw it all in.
Let's make the design clean and simple. I want to enter their name and company, and the agent do the rest, giving me a quick brief and detailed research. Let's see what it does. I always like to see, I think this is like kind of the magic moment, right? Like I put this idea in my head that I think would be useful for me, put it in there as best I can. I don't come from like a technical background, so I always think this is magic when V0 just starts building it.
And this part is the most magical of it. Just said like loading AI SDK. Like I don't think people realize how big of a deal that is. Of like you are like building across different models right now, and you didn't have to like say anything, do anything. It just contextually based on what you asked knows what is best to build.
And so AI SDK, if people don't know, that's Vercel's AI software development kit. And so it knows to go and use that to API between like AI Gateway, which allows us to use all different models, web search, and gives our agent like kind of the arms it needs to do what we just asked versus just being kind of like a picture on a page.
Yeah. And I think that is one of the clearest differentiators, clearest differentiator of what it feels like to build with V0. And we just got a question in the chat, someone who this is their first time using V0 today. Hello. Hi, welcome. So glad you joined. So I was like, how do we know if people are on? And people are on. Yes. This is your first experience. And they're asking like, what makes this a different coding experience? And in your eyes, like, what is different about building with V0?
Yeah, I think the difference with V0 is by Vercel, right? And if you're not super familiar with Vercel, Vercel is a 10-year-old company that has a history of building frameworks for the web, security for the web. We run a lot of infrastructure of the web, which is really cool. Like even if you don't know Vercel,
you've definitely been on a website that uses it.
If you use DoorDash, if you use like many things across the web, Vercel runs the back of that and keeps that like website fast and running. And so V0 coming out of that, Vercel builds React and Next.js. And so V0 is like deeply aligned and intertwined with that. And the other thing that's nice about it is Vercel works with enterprise customers. So we have 10-year history of enterprise security background, and V0 brings that to the table. And then the other thing is V0 outputs real coded components. So actually something that we're kind of getting ready to showcase today is we have a new version of V0 that is designed to integrate with your GitHub. You can publish a PR, merge a PR. You're not working on the main branch. You can open a project that's already in a Git repo. And then also Vercel is for deploying. And so when you have a V0 that you like when we get this agent, you can click publish, and that's going to deploy it live to the web with a real domain. And so I think just that history of Vercel, React, security makes it a little bit different than some of the newer companies that are also doing like the vibe coding space. And a lot of them are good. Like Lovable is a really great company, but just a little bit different background, history, and output.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, speaking of security, I'll let you take your screen down as we add some environment variables. But I think that's great. And to Sam's point, if you've been following along on the Twitter, we just launched some pretty big changes yesterday and today around our GitHub integrations. And I think that this is going to be a step function change of how people are working in V0, because you can now directly import any repo into V0, start working on it, edit, make changes, ship PRs without leaving V0. And so, I think we talk a lot about how AI tools have made it a lot easier for people to create apps and to create code. And a lot of times that has to be rewritten to actually go into production. And now anyone can work with the same state-of-the-art engineering flows that teams have been using for decades. And you can be a marketer, you can be on the go-to-market team to do it. You can be my grandmother. Like if you, I'm going to get Gigi set up and GitHub later today. But I think that that's really cool. So definitely check that out. And we have new docs pages on it. We also have some community sessions, give feedback. It went live, I think, honestly, a few hours before this. So
yeah, it's pretty exciting. So hopefully you get to play around with it. I actually told V0, so when you're working with V0, it thinks and tries to come up with like the best tools for you to use. So I actually told it I didn't want to get a Brave Search API key, which is what it was suggesting for web search. And I'm actually going to have it use something in the AI gateway so that I actually don't have to pull that. So it's going to have us using Claude Sonnet 4 through AI Gateway. So actually no external API key needed right now.
Awesome.
To be able to make our agent work. It did come up with this nice, clean, simple. Sometimes I like a little more jazzy, a little more.
I know. I felt like when you were asking me for the theme, I was like, "Say what's something fun." I've been brainwashed.
It's Vercel. We're black on black, so we'll let it be. So we already have here like enter your prospect, enter their company, and we'll find something for you, and we'll test that in a second. To Caroline's point, like it does have all the code here, so this is like the prompt it came up with. We can also like edit that right in here. There's not too much design to change here, but if we wanted to, maybe I could change some of the colors. And oh gosh, I'll get in trouble if I bring us into light mode. So I won't save that. I'll reset it. But I think this is like a very marketing or sales like flow where, hey, you can just change the text. Like this kind of reminds me almost in like a Squarespace type of way, which is where I started, doing like web design, or like my MySpace back in the day where you could easily like edit some of the text. So V0 is pulling out like the bigger, code, the layout, the page, and the components, but you also have a way to just go into design mode. A lot of people don't seem to like not know about this. You can prompt to design anything too. Like I can say, change this text or make that button a little bit more fun. I want to make the start research button more fun and change it around a little bit via prompting, but I really do like design mode for that.
Awesome. Okay, so we've gotten this first go at the research agent. You look at this and you're like, great, I can put my name in, of the prospect, the company. Where do you go then next with V0 of adding more capabilities? And how do you think about what's going to save me the most time in my workflow?
Yeah, well, first things first, once we jazz up this button a little bit, which see, come on, that's a little bit more jazzy with the sparkly emoji. Then I want to test to make sure this works. That's why I think it is really great to like start small and then start building out all these other capabilities, because if I started and was like integrate calendar, integrate Salesforce, it like can integrate like Granola if you have the API keys, but then if it didn't work, I wouldn't know which one to start troubleshooting.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
So this is like a first things first. Let's make this happen, and I'll research myself and see if it works. Sometimes, oh, look.
Nice.
It's giving company intel on Vercel. And the thing is, since this is using Claude Sonnet and web search via AI Gateway, it's like if you're searching someone that has a high web presence, so probably like higher up in the company, oftentimes salespeople are searching execs, which usually have articles about them and things like that. You'll get more information. And I had asked it to like give me suggested approach, like how can I come onto the call with this person? The cool thing here is you can, edit the prompt. You saw it in the code, or you can work with V0 to edit that. So if you're selling a specific thing, you can give it your value props that you have, and say, hey, which value prop do you think would align with this customer? Like, what angle should I take this call? And just use that as a full like preparation. So this is a great, like, I think basic start. It actually works. It's pulling correct information about me. And like giving a little bit profile. I think something I would like to see here is in the results, can you
also just to like call attention, we're chatting a lot because we're chatters, but that worked in like a minute. Like, and that workflow would have taken you.
So it worked for a total of, this was 2 minutes and 30 seconds till it made the agent. Then I didn't want to use that API key, and it worked for less than another minute. And like, then we have it, and that workflow works, and it is real, and I could use it every day.
Like if we're talking about ROI on time spent, like that's awesome.
I think something I always like to do with a prospect is make sure I check out their LinkedIn before a call, because I can see, are they posting on there like some thought leadership, and you can like learn, what their opinions are. Also, if I want to send them, a connect after, depending on maybe how the call went or how we want to stay in touch, then I'll have easy access to that. So I'm going to ask it to bring that into the mix for me. But like now we're at a place where it works, and you could take this a million directions and really customize it to what works for you in your day-to-day workflow. I think like there's a million SaaS tools like out of the box that sales teams use historically. I think the beauty of V0 is building like this kind of personal SaaS or personal tool for your team, because depending on what you sell, you might want different information on the prospect that's super specific. You might want it to integrate with another tool you use, and you could do that all here, and like so it could be like infinite possibilities. I think.
Do you find yourself moving towards that more? I think you coined it like personal SaaS, personal software as a service.
SaaS for everything for myself. I think like there was a famous like Sam Altman tweet that was like, we're entering the fast fashion of SaaS, basically, which is like, oh, I had this idea or this like little annoyance in my day that I probably could use. Even I schedule my day with like a SaaS I made. I could use Google Calendar, but I just like my particular activities that I drag and drop. Or like tracking my 2026 goals. I have a little SaaS for that. That's just very personal to the way I do it.
We were supposed to have our personal
on my where does my money go?
Yes. That'll come up next time.
And so yes, it's
awesome.
It did that, and hopefully I think it should, if it understood and I was clear enough. I think something also to highlight with AI tools in general, but definitely V0, like it's all about your prompt. And so how clear you are with your prompt and instructions that you're giving the AI, the better the output will be as of anything. And so, as you're putting stuff in V0 and working with it, just try and be as specific as possible. And there's also like, we have, I think somewhere like an improved prompt button on your first like prompt.
Oh yeah.
You can like type something vague, and V0 will actually help you like modify the prompt to make it something a little bit more specific or a little bit more that the AI will understand. I also think this is like cool down here. When you see something you like in V0, or if like something's not working for you, you can give us feedback, and our team is very on top of that. And so we read all the feedback, and we'll fix something pretty real time. And so if something's not working for you, like all of these tools and LLMs like in public use are fairly new. So like you can build with V0 and build with us as we're building V0.
I can give some behind the scenes that the entire V0 team is actually up in a conference room right now, only in feedback for users right now. So please send the feedback.
Very real. We take it very seriously. All like the user's experience from like the tiniest things. It's pretty cool to work here and like be in those channels and like get your feedback.
It's amazing.
They're like, oh, that we fixed this or something like that.
That's awesome. Okay.
Should I show like I didn't connect this to a Git repo yet, but like if you are someone, I mean, often on GTM, like GitHub might be scary, might not be something you use all the time, but if you did want to like start using this in your day-to-day, you could like publish this to production from V0 right to Vercel, and then that will make it like a web app online. And then if I'm on a sales team and I just built this, I can click publish. It will give me a link. You can password protect it or do different like levels of security on it, or make it share it with your team only, and then like the rest of your sales team can also use it. So
and I think we got a question from the community of someone saying, from a non-coder, why is the GitHub connection a game changer? And I think that it's most helpful to think about this in use cases of your day-to-day job. So let's say that I'm on the marketing team. Mm-hmm. Previously, if I wanted to make a change to the website, like a copy change, something that is like super simple, easy, I would have to go ask engineering for help with that.
Right.
And that's probably an annoying ask for the engineering team.
And they're like, no, we're trying to change the world of AI, so we're not changing this word for you.
But for our customers, that's actually a really important copy change. Right. And it shouldn't be blocked by engineering or time or people's varying levels of what is prioritized, right? And so now with the new V0, I can, as a marketer, just bring in our repo of our website, make the copy change just as easy as we did. It'll probably work for like 23 seconds, I'm going to say. And then I can push that to production and send a PR that my engineering team still reviews in the same process that they do.
We'll push it to the not main branch. What V0 works on if you know how GitHub works, like our real website's on main. Caroline will make this change on a branch.
Yeah.
That branch will be reviewed before it's pushed to the site.
Yes.
But it's much easier for them to review and like merge that branch over than to do that themselves.
Exactly. And so that's why it's a game changer and you don't even really have to know what GitHub is or really even spend time in there, but it's more of like putting ownership in your hands of like enabling anyone to build. So if you are a marketer, if you're on the go-to-market team, if you're in design, really allowing you to work like an engineer does.
Yeah, and you can own your function a little bit more. That way, I know I've like talked back and forth with engineers like, hey, can we change this like bullet point? And then it's actually not what I wanted, and we're iterating customer feedback, and like it becomes someone's whole job to just like change the website for the marketing team.
Exactly.
I also think GitHub for non-coders can still be the source of truth, and so we see like people putting their design system and wanting to work with their components, and like that can live in a GitHub repo, and then you can work with your real components. And so it just becomes a source of truth that everyone's pulling from on like for like we call it real work, but the things that are live on the web that you might want to interact with, even if you're not an engineer.
Exactly. And I feel like, again, we've been in the last 18 months so excited because everyone can build now, but it's still actually hard to put that code into like your actual website where people are actually working. And so now everything that everyone's excited to build can actually be used.
Yes. And also like when our Git repo, right, is very like secure. So now you're not making some new web page on some new small tool that has like code that isn't secure enough for our company and our team.
Yeah.
And you're not having any risk associated with doing that, which I think is really important as well. Like when it comes to vibe coding, now that so many people are doing it, we're getting into like vibe coding security. And I think being able to like pull from a repo that can be private and protected and only has certain collaborators can become really important.
Yeah, especially in enterprise setting.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. What do you want to build next, Sam?
Yeah, do we want to take this further or go just start on a different agent? I have so much I can do like from sales.
I know. I'm curious. What would you do if you took this further? And then what's another like pain point that you're like, oh God, I want to build for this?
Yeah, I guess if I took this further, maybe I would try, and I've never done this, and we would probably need some Google Auth, but like to connect it to my calendar, and then like I would think more integrations.
Yeah.
Which would be like, hey, connect this to my calendar, pull the info, and then also like ping me with it via email or something like that.
We actually just built that internally. Someone on our team last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, of a use Google Auth. You just have to get the admin approval.
Right.
I put so many requests to Adam this morning. I don't think he would get it in time for this. But she did a review of like entire calendar to start giving contextual suggestions of how I should be spending my time differently and how to rearrange. So that would be a really cool thing to do.
Yeah, and I think like just so everyone like watching like with your team, it does like V0 will guide you through that. So like if I were to put in here like, hey, how do I integrate my calendar and Granola, it will tell you what to do, and then you can just go to your security team or whoever's in on your team and be like, hey, am I able to build with our Granola API, or can I get Google Auth to do XYZ? And then you can just like connect all your tools.
Yeah.
I think, that is a power of V0 also, that it will give you clear instructions. And V0 knows its capabilities. So you can ask it like, how does this work? Why didn't this work? Something like that.
Given that we might not get Google Auth in this time, you want to build something new?
Yeah, let's build something else.
What are you fired up about?
So something I've been wanting, and like if there's anything else in the chat, I'm also open. But
yeah, if y'all have ideas, throw them in.
Is kind of this like sales assistant, or like almost like your personal sales manager, where I want it to take the transcripts of my calls and I want it to give me some feedback, what I did, what I could improve maybe, and what I did really good, because I like to hear that.
It's always good.
And then also like analyze my call and start building me some custom collateral.
Yeah.
So that's like actually a lot of asks, but I'm curious what V0 would do with that. But it's kind of becomes this console of look at my calls and take the transcript, pull the transcript, probably like from Granola. We'll use fake data right now, just because we won't put prospect data on here, but we'll make it work just as if it was like a real call, and then show you how you can use your call transcripts to just put them in V0 and get a custom deck or web page or something like that you can then send to your client.
Let's do it.
Okay. How should we say this to V0? Help me build a sales manager agent for myself. What I want the manager to do is be able to hook to my calendar and see my calls. Use fake data for now, just to test. Pull my call transcripts from Granola or Gong, but I'll just say Granola, and have an AI integration that gives me feedback on my call. Include some positive so I can hype myself up. And also a button that will help me generate follow-up collateral that's custom to the call. That's a pretty long prompt, but I think I'm just gonna ship it in V0. And I'm also gonna say, make the design futuristic.
There we go. I knew there was going to be some fun.
I'm going to say fun. Futuristic might be, sometimes like it gives me, I don't know. We can always, the beauty is you can always clean it up.
Not approved by Vercel brand.
Yes, exactly. We're doing something off brand here. You'll see someone come grab me, yank me out the door.
I think this is awesome though, because it gets to our point above in the beginning of the conversation. Can you tell that I'm like in Slack all day?
That's for above.
But of like all these AI tools spinning up more tracking of what we're doing, more data of what we're doing. But again, it's like, where does that then allow us to do our job better and get really clear on the impact that all the great data. I love Granola, and it's like, what do I do with that? And this is a great example of taking that context and taking action on it.
Yeah, exactly. You can actually like do something with the transcript instead of just having like a million transcripts in the cloud. I also think it's always good to ask V0, like if you have an idea, and I'll be like, that's not possible. And then oftentimes it is. Like I didn't realize like, you know, we can integrate with like say Nano Banana and generate images. Like there's so much beyond web search even that it can do. And so just
and again, it is only increasing every day.
Right, like, exactly. We always change it.
In the Slack yesterday where I'm like, oh my God, okay, I think like tomorrow we're going to be able to do this XYZ thing, and they're fast. So that's another great example too of a reason to share what you're building online, share feedback of what you want. Like we work with some amazing partners with integrations, and the more we know of like how people want to be using V0, the easier it is for us to go to partners and be like, okay, like let's build this. This is a key use case.
Yes. And also like even once I had like a little video I made, and I was like, I don't think V0 can do video, but I just dropped it in there and I asked it to like change kind of like a theme to me, and I put it on a web page with like, and it completely worked. So it's like you don't even know sometimes the limitations you have or don't have. I gave it what's also nice too is like for that example where I just said I want to use fake data for this, and it just creates fake data. So it's going to create like call transcripts for me, so that if you were just building, say, like a prototype of an idea you have, you don't have to put real data in there to start with.
Well, and it's also like great too of like if you wanted to build something live with a customer in a demo, like you don't have to share Vercel's information to show how we're using V0.
That's like I built something to track my money, and then it did track my money, but I was like, I want to share this. So I was like, can you actually put like fake data? Because I don't really want everyone to see like all the Ubers I took.
Is that your kryptonite, the Ubers?
No, that's I love someone. I don't know. No. All the Amazons.
Yeah, that's that up too.
It's creating the calendar. Let's see, it did my layout, and it can like show you everything it's doing in here, which also it did like teach me a lot about kind of like software engineering in a way to follow along with what like V0 actually does when it changes something, or like you can click any component and jump to that code. So if you create something and maybe I want to actually, it'll do it for me, but maybe I want to learn like where does the API route go? It's in this page inside app API analyze, and it's the route page. And that's where that lives. So everything is like done for you, but it's also documented, which I think is nice.
That's awesome. We got a question while this is loading, I got a question from the chat. How would I go about mimicking an existing app out there that I just want to spin up for myself?
That is a great question. You can honestly just put in like the link, tell it, you can screenshot it. If you see something you like, it will recreate it for you or tell you how to. So you can, drop anything in, just drop the link in the chat.
We do these things called V0 IRLs, which are, it's awesome. I mean, I think we have like 3 a day at this point, and it's community members who are hosting events on our behalf. And I got some pictures yesterday. A bunch of students in Savannah, Georgia, all built Pac-Man apps. Yeah, and they just literally said, I want to build Pac-Man, and so it's pretty good. I think it brings in a lot of context, and screenshots work as well, but increasingly I'm finding that I don't even really have to give screenshots.
You can just give it because it can search the web. And I've seen, like, I think I saw like someone one-shotting like, build me Robinhood, don't make any mistakes. And then it builds like a pretty functional, obviously then you would have to like API to the data, but like it can give you the whole architecture of any app you want. Just put the link. I gave it a good prompt. This one worked for 4 minutes. So but it did come to fruition, no issues found. So let's try it out. I think I might need to give a little refresh because I've done too much.
Ooh,
it named it. I always like to see what names it comes up with. Apex sales agent. I think that's because I said futuristic.
Awesome.
And this is like the fake data that I gave it. So excuse that. And it's also like, this is the starting point. So you can always redesign, move things around. But it gave me some calls in here. That would be synced from Granola if I connected that. And it gave me the button to do feedback or collateral.
Have you done that where you've been able to sync to Granola with API?
I haven't asked our engineering team to give me the Granola API because I'm a little scared, but I will. That's on my plans for this week because I just think there's so much rich data in there. And so, would love to. I'm curious if it will give me feedback. And this is where like I spend a lot. Oh, wow. It already works. That's crazy.
That is awesome.
I was definitely predicting that I was going to have to debug. And like, I do a lot of back and forth with like, hey, I want it a little bit more like this or a little bit more like that. But it's taking the call transcript and then giving feedback and areas of improvement on all my scrolls.
And Sam, in your perspective, we built this out in 4 minutes and 30 seconds or however long it was. And then, as you said, there are tons of tools that will do this for sales teams. Why build it in V0?
I think just to customize and pull your things together. Also, then you like own the security. Also, I think you can, I don't know how much we pay, probably like Gong or like between different apps. I do think there will be like a consolidation. And I also just think putting your like personal like twist on things. And so like I really, like to see some positive feedback on my calls.
We're learning a lot about Sam. She loves Ubers, Amazon, and
this was bad examples. I was on the spot. I'm going to change my whole persona before next Power Hour. I didn't know I had to study that. I only studied agents. And so I think, just the ability to customize for your real use case. Because maybe that's, maybe you actually really like constructive feedback, and you're something I didn't tell the agent, but something that actually would like is, we use MEDDPICC here, which is like the sales framework. And we have to put all the MEDDPICC notes in Salesforce. And so like I could have it look at my transcript and pull MEDDPICC.
Let's do it.
Let's do that. Add a button that will review the transcript and pull the MEDDPICC. If some shout out to hopefully salespeople out there know what that is, but it's like the metrics, who's the economic buyer, and all those like details. It's a big long sales acronym. I know this is something that takes reps on my team a lot of time. After your calls, you're kind of trying to remember what it is. Pull the MEDDPICC information from the call and put it in a format I can copy, paste right into my Salesforce. Also, you can integrate to Salesforce if your team lets you have that off. So you can definitely connect with that as well. Vercel V0 has given me that option before. But I know our sales ops team probably would not want to give me the keys to that kingdom. And so I just like, you can tell V0, hey, give me this, give this the ability to be a PDF export, and it will add that. Give this the ability to have a one click to put it into Google Sheet.
That's awesome.
So it's like I could say, draft me a follow-up email and then add a button where it will add that to a Google Sheet for me.
And we use Notion a lot here, and I love the Notion MCP.
Yes.
That has been like
Tell me about that. I haven't used it too much. I don't know why I've been a little intimidated, honestly.
I know. Next Power Hour, we're using Notion.
Okay, tell me what do you...
awesome. So an example that I use it for, again, these V0 IRLs, we have a lot of events.
Right.
And people are hosting things all around the world, and I was really struggling on how to best communicate that to our team of oh my god, there's all these things going on.
Yep.
And so I didn't want to manually be like, these are all the events. So I literally just use you take your thing, MCP, and then you go to add new.
See how I have none added?
Yeah, we gotta use some MCPs. And then you just add Notion, and it can read and write to Notion.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy. And so what I built is a dashboard to give us
event tracking.
Yeah, and a world view of where is V0 around the world.
We should make it a map. It is a map.
The image rendering could use a little help. Yes, but it is a functional map. And it's really cool. And so it updates every time I add an event.
Where's my MEDDPICC tab? It says MEDDPICC tab edit. Yeah, let's see. I gotta make this copy for Salesforce button. Okay. Added a new third tab in the AI coach panel. So see, it's now I've built something that I don't even know what it is, because I wasn't super involved in building it. Where is my AI coach panel? I'm gonna have to ask.
I often am I don't see this. Can you point me to?
That's what happens when you're building something a little complex. And also if you did want to make this a real app, you can add login capabilities. Obviously, we connect to databases so everything can be stored.
Yeah.
I actually have one that I built that I take my own notes on a call while I'm talking to someone, and it goes through the MEDDPICC fields as I'm taking notes and tells me oh, you're you heard about the metrics, you heard about this, and so I can see oh, I never asked about the timeline or something like that.
That's awesome.
It's kind of tracking in the corner of my eye, because I think for a lot of salespeople, hopefully not just me, sometimes you get off a call and you're oh, I wish I asked this.
Yeah.
Why didn't I had that moment, but I just forgot because too much is going on.
Yeah.
And so it helps me make sure I leave the call with the information I needed, because then you try and do it in a follow-up email, and it's just not the same as if you got to it.
Okay, there's our sales coach.
Where? Oh,
yeah.
Oh, this was AI coach panel. Oh, I think what I had to do is click a call first. But there's no transcript for that call. Let's see. Here we go.
There we go.
And so let's say there's feedback, there's generate collateral, and there's extract MEDDPICC. And so it looks like it's pulling the MEDDPICC field. For some reason, the scroll is not working, so I'll have to tell it that. But the metrics is the M of MEDDPICC, and then I could copy this for Salesforce.
And otherwise, you were manually writing that.
Yeah, you kind of remember your call or think about your call.
Kind of remember your call.
Taking your notes, and you're what were the metrics we discussed?
That's awesome.
Something I feel this is a pro tip. If you are ever troubleshooting any AI, I always say, can you find the root cause and let me know what it is?
Mm-hmm. And I also feel that's a really good way that I've been learning in V0, because if you can identify the root cause one time, I then just start to prompt with that.
Right.
And I don't do anything. I'm just and make sure this does not happen.
Right.
We talked about this in the last Power Hour, but a lot of issues when I would change the UI of an app, but the underlying dashboard requirements, I do a lot of things that have an admin dashboard on the back, wouldn't change. And so then you couldn't accept anything because they didn't line up. And now anytime I build it, I just start with, I'm make sure everything lines up, dude. And it does.
Yep. It's one-time learning, and then you can always use that for everything you're building. Cool. So it found the root cause for me. Again, I like to learn more about coding, so I might read through this a bit and kind of try and understand what causes a scroll issue just in general, and then it actually tells me the fix. So that's pretty cool. And let's extract MEDDPICC. I think if I actually publish this in open, that scroll might work, or I might have to tell it and troubleshoot that a little bit more. I'm also curious about the collateral button. Yeah. It's generating the email follow-up.
That's awesome.
I'm curious if I copy the link, and it copies the link to the chat. So if you ever want to share a chat you're building with someone on your team, you can do that before publishing. And so they can then see what you've chatted and what you're building. Is
I think we're showing a different screen.
Still
There
showing
we go.
Oh no, that's my other one I was building.
There we go.
But yeah, if I wanted to publish this to Vercel, I could actually just click publish to production. It's initializing for me. I only put it to our team. I like to show the V0 branding. I know some people, don't, and we'll actually push that
Always
right to
selling.
a Vercel project. So then I can share the link with someone or myself and then actually use it. So
that's awesome. Well, this is the moment in Power Hour where I'm advocating we get a shot clock for the 5-minute countdown of what we can ship. But is there anything you want to ship in the last 5 minutes? Anything you want to
I'm curious if anyone like in the chat has any thoughts or ideas.
Yeah, let's see if we have any ideas.
I ship tons of things all the time. So yeah, if anyone has questions. Or just questions about V0 and like things you're trying to build. I feel like for those who were live with us, like I want to make it valuable for them. So
okay, we'll see if we get anything. Oh, that's cool. They found the root cause.
Yeah. Well, hopefully. Let's see. And then that's when you go into V0 feedback channel and you ask that, and why doesn't my scroll work? But yeah, this actually is like a project now. I can share this with my sales crew or go view it. Oh, this is my, share this tab instead. So like, this
super
is
cool.
kind of live on the private web, if you will. And so I'll go check those MEDDPICC details. Yeah, my scroll's still not working. So troubleshooting, it's part of the vibe coding process. But like, I like these personalized follow-ups based on what you talked about.
Awesome.
And I do want to see my feedback.
The good feedback.
Yes. I did take some, I'll always add some constructive as well, not just all about only the positive feedback.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, Sam, we shipped a lot in this Power Hour. And I also just find like it was a fascinating conversation of like how real teams are or are not adopting AI internally in their workflows. Okay, so let's recap. We built the call prep.
Right. My research agent, which like now we can go research everyone, and I think it's fun. Put in some some mutual contacts.
I know
we test it.
If Helen's watching, we're gonna put in Helen afterwards. Awesome. And then we built this is more than like a sales coach agent. This feels like a home base for a lot of things.
I think it could definitely save like if you're the type that is we always get our sales ops people pinging like, hey, can you fill out the MEDDPICC fields? Hey, what's the next step? And so like I think you could take this a step further and like have it sync to Salesforce for you if you start matching all the fields. Get your SEs or your sales ops people like building in V0 and doing that for you, because instead of them asking you every week, they can just have it auto sync right from your transcript when it happened, and then you can go and like edit it or correct it, but like the data won't be blank. I think that's a really big thing for sales teams actually.
It's awesome. Well, in the last few minutes of Power Hour, though not Sam's last Power Hour, I think we're booked.
Hopefully, we'll see what my feedback and reviews were. I don't know.
No, I think we've had so much engagement in the chat too. It's awesome. I'm curious, like going back to the very beginning of the conversation, where if you were talking to an AE who like doesn't know where to start with building agents in V0, what would be your advice on like where to get started?
I would think about what annoys you. Go through one of your regular days and think about like the maybe Slack you got for something you didn't do that every single week you do that, something you put on your calendar as a reminder to do and you're holding time for it. And then usually you're busy with something else and it never happens. We all have those things. Or just like something you do that anytime I find myself repeating something, like I'm typing this again and again, I'm clicking this again and again. Usually an agent can do that for you. And so I would say start there. And you can also start with like the minimum viable, like with that first research agent worked, but like it was just very simple, right? You don't have to start building something crazy, putting API keys, getting off, but you can like grow there slowly. So I would say start simple, get excited about what you're building, give yourself some of your time back, and then maybe more ideas will come. Because like the point is for it to be valuable, not building just for the sake of building.
Yeah. I find that so many more ideas come as soon as I start to see it visually in V0. So they just keep rolling. Well, Sam, this was awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. Please, thank you all for everyone who joined us on
Power Hour.
It's fun.
And we got to get Power Hour outfit jackets or hats. I don't know.
That Yes,
So-
and maybe like a background.
Yes,
Or
I
we
think a
could do it,
background.
like, virtually.
Also, I think for those like engaged in Power Hours, like I think there should be like swag being sent. Like I
Wait.
think Power Hours should be like I want to be like TBPN of V0.
Wait,
Power.
obsessed with that. Okay, we could have community swag,
Yeah.
and maybe we only drop it on here.
On the
we
lives.
don't say anything else. You have to
No,
be
yeah.
like in the chat
Real time.
to see it.
Mhm.
What kind of okay, for those watching, let us know what kind of
Swag
swag
requests.
that you would want. You can also DM us personally to give us some
We're getting
ideas.
V0 live swag. You heard it here. Caroline has the budget. So.
Yeah, I do. That's awesome. Well, and on that vein, swag, of course, but also like what y'all want to see us build. I mean,
Yes.
truly, these Power Hours are like planned because we see people building things, we have excitement, and we wrap it up. There's not a lot of prep, probably to Sam's chagrin, but we just kind of roll. So if there's something that you're struggling with in your workflow, or as you start to use the new V0, there's like something you're really excited to see, like please DM V0, DM Sam, Caroline, and we'll build it.
100%. If you want to, we'll show you like get more into GitHub or like different functionalities. So yeah, I'm excited to build with this community.
Yeah, it's awesome. Okay, awesome. Cheers, y'all. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
We need an outro too.
Yeah, I want in